Guys, I am sick and tired of hearing people say that Khabib Nurmagomedov is overrated, that his record is trash, and that if he would have stayed in the UFC, he would have lost. What are you guys talking about? We know that Islam Makhachev's fight with Arman Tsarukyan is coming up. And as Khabib is technically Islam's prodigy, I just want to put some facts out there that will make you reconsider this silly notion that Khabib Nurmagomedov is not a top 3 UFC GOAT. First off, I just want to say that Khabib is literally the grandfather of all this wrestling fuckery that is happening today. He was the first fighter to be such a dominant and smothering fighter that people had no chance. He didn't even need to be able to strike. His grappling was all he needed to win every single fight in a dominant fashion. So all these other people, Merab, Islam, Bilal Muhammad, the list goes on and on, Hamzat, they all followed the trend that Khabib set. Now I'm going to break it down one by one on the biggest reason why a lot of people say that Khabib should not be up there with the top UFC GOATs such as John Jones, Anderson Silva, GSP. Let me break it down for you by simply looking at Islam's record versus Khabib's, because you guys claim that Islam is this pound for pound GOAT. Let's look at his record, okay? Follow with me, I have it right here. I'm just gonna list noteworthy fighters that he has beaten, okay? He has beaten Arman Tsarukyan, a decision unanimous, in 2019. Then Dan Hooker, not impressive. Bobby Green, not impressive. Charles Oliveira, impressive. That's one impressive win. Alexander Volkanovski, not impressive. The way he won that fight, half of the fans thought he lost that fight against a 5'6" Alexander Volkanovski moving up in weight. Then he beats Alexander Volkanovski in the next fight, not impressive. Then he beats Dustin Poirier in a very shitty fashion that Khabib would have never let slide. This man was struggling to control Dustin, a journeyman, on the ground, got busted up by Dustin Poirier, who's far past his prime. That's his literal record. This is not impressive. What are we talking about? And now let me just compare it to Khabib's record, because he has such a shitty record and it's such a padded record. I just named Islam's record. Let's look at Khabib's record, okay guys? Just gonna name some notable fighters he fought. Some names you would know. Edson Barbosa, beat him. Michael Johnson, beat him. These aren't very impressive, but it's on his record. Rafael dos Anjos, beat him. That's impressive. This was back in 2014. Rafael dos Anjos was one of those top contenders. That is one impressive win. And if you want to give Islam an impressive win with Arman, that's not an impressive win, and I'll tell you exactly why in a second. So we have Rafael dos Anjos, Al Iaquinta. You guys love to say that that fight showed that he really wasn't that good. That was his worst performance in the UFC, and it was still a clear win to him. When Islam Makhachev has had several fights now where he looked super beatable and should have been beat, insert Volkanovski. Then you have Conor McGregor. That's the second impressive win. We're gonna act like that's not an impressive win. Conor McGregor back in 2018. That's 2 impressive wins. Dustin Poirier beat him way better than Islam beat him. And then Justin Gaethje. What are we talking about here? The way he beats all of these fighters was with no mercy. He is the grandfather of all this wrestling fuckery, like I said. And you have Islam Makhachev, who is his prodigy. But Islam will never live up to what Khabib has done in the UFC. Let me tell you exactly why. Islam's wrestling and grappling is nowhere near as dominant as Khabib's. And you guys love to make fun of the way Khabib strikes. And love to say, this guy can't even strike. How is he a top 3 GOAT or GOAT of the UFC? He did not need to be able to strike because of his grappling was so good. Think of Islam Makhachev. If Islam's striking was just like Khabib's, he would not be this good of a fighter because his grappling lacks. He struggled to even take down Alexander Volkanovski, who went up in weight. He struggled to hold down Dustin Poirier. This guy's grappling is nowhere near the level of Khabib. And just to look at how the UFC is built now, you have to be a complete fighter to be a champion. There is no incomplete champion anymore. There is no striking knockout artists like Conor McGregor or Max Holloway. All these fighters, they're not champions anymore because they aren't all-around fighters. Now look at Khabib. He is so dominant at wrestling that he was the only one that didn't need to be an all-around fighter. Islam would not survive if he was only a grappler like Khabib. I would just encourage you to rewatch some of Khabib's fights. Look at the Justin Gaethje fight. Look at the Dustin Poirier fight. These were fighters who were still in their prime, and what he did to them was mind-blowing. Now you have Islam fighting Dustin Poirier way out of his prime. He's fighting all the fighters that Khabib already beat while they were in their prime, and while Islam fights them, they're not even in their prime, and he's making it look far much more difficult. So for you guys to say that Khabib is not the GOAT, but here you are putting Islam Makhachev #1 pound for pound, who struggles to be Dustin, who struggles to be Alexander Volkanovski. It's the weird portion of the UFC fan base that really just discredits Khabib because they think he hasn't fought so many fighters, because he retired early. No one in the UFC, current, before when Khabib was still fighting, would have ever gave him a run for his money, while here we have Islam literally going through beatings to get a decision victory that many fans thought he lost. It is not comparable whatsoever. You guys really need to think how good a fighter needs to be in order for him to be a one-trick pony like Khabib. There's no other fighter in the UFC that solely became such a dominant champion on wrestling. Ben Askren, dominant wrestler, no hands, got knocked out, no future, no championship. So many, the list goes on and on. Chael Sonnen, simply a grappler. Didn't do much with it, didn't become a champion. He beat a lot of fighters, but nothing in terms of what Khabib has done. It's not ever been done before. Just think about that, guys. This guy can only wrestle, and he fought people like Justin Gaethje, who is an All-American wrestler. I don't know if he's All-American, but this guy is known to be a wrestler. Made it look easy. Couldn't even strike, but he still took him down. So many fighters nowadays, if they can't take them down, they're done for. Khabib, that was never a problem because you knew he was taking them down and dominating them. And now I know that Islam has a fight with Arman Tsarukyan, and I know that Islam's gonna win that fight, and the amount of hype Islam's gonna get off beating an overrated Arman Tsarukyan is gonna be so annoying. And what I found out after looking at Arman's record is, why is this guy so hyped up? Why is he truly even getting a title shot? This guy has really done nothing impressive. Stay with me here one moment, because I'm bringing out receipts for everything. Let's look at Arman Tsarukyan's record, because this is such a good fighter, and you know, he's fighting Islam, and if Islam wins, he's just top tier best fighter. Let's look at it. Let's look at notable wins of Arman Tsarukyan. Beat Charles Oliveira in 2024. Sad to say, this isn't the same Charles Oliveira. Okay, it's not. It's not, okay? The same Charles Oliveira that was a champion does not lose to this Arman dude, okay? And that win was a split decision where Arman almost got tapped out. That is not an impressive win. We're still at 0 impressive wins. Then he beat Beneil Dariush, a washed up Beneil Dariush. Still at 0 impressive wins. Then he beat Joaquim Silva. Not impressive. Damir Ismagulov, not impressive. Lost to Matthias Gamrot. This dude lost to Matthias Gamrot 2 years ago, and he's getting the title shot? Yeah, guys, I truly cannot hop on this train of Arman being this super talented and great fighter who's gonna challenge Islam. All he's gonna do is make you guys believe Arman's so good, and then make Islam look even better when Arman loses, because he's not an impressive fighter. He has no notable wins. He lost to Gamrot. He lost to Islam already. Then all these other fighters, Olivier Aubin, Davy Ramos, Matt Favola, Christos Giagos, Joel Alvarez, Damir Ismagulov, Joaquim Silva, and then Beneil Dariush and Charles Oliveira. What kind of fucking record is that? 0 impressiveness on that resume. And so, it's just like, what is happening here? Islam's fighting this dude, Arman Tsarukyan, who lost to Gamrot, who lost to Islam already. And that's supposed to be better competition than Justin Gaethje in his prime, Dustin Poirier in his prime, Conor McGregor basically in his prime. Guys, you guys need to really put some respect on Khabib's legacy and what he's done for the UFC. This man is literally one of the only wrestling fuck fighters from Chechen, Dagestan, or whatever that actually knows what to do on the mic and entertain us. Islam, boring on the mic, no pay-per-view selling points. Merab, boring on the mic, not fun to listen to. It's just like, where's the excitement with all these new fighters that are following Khabib's legacy and the way he fought? They're all boring. They're not selling pay-per-views. The only thing they have is their fight style. That's the only reason fans are watching them. Khabib gave us some of the most historic, entertaining moments in history. His rivalry with Conor McGregor. What if Conor fought Islam? It would be nowhere near as exciting. It'd be boring because Islam is a boring talker on the mic. Khabib just had that aura about him, like, I'm gonna fuck you up. This man jumped off of the cage into the stands to attack Dylan Dennis. That's some pay-per-view fucking points right there. And what does he do to back it up? He wins every single fight on his record. Islam's already lost. Arman's lost 3 fights. Am I making sense or am I crazy? Let me know in the comments. Subscribe for more UFC content. Peace out, guys.